Okay, so that means they can see it as well, right?
Yes, everyone can
Correct.
see. There's 16 people
Okay,
right now
okay. So
watching.
we can
Here.
we can start. We can start then.
We can, yep. And I'll be watching the Facebook group as well. So Chan, if I could, I guess, say welcome to our virtual Atlantykron 2020. It's wonderful to have you here all the way in Singapore. So thank you for taking the time. I know it's late evening for you. And been really looking forward to this talk about making the connection with nature, with animals, with humanity, and really improving our relationship with everything around us. So thank you for being here. It's wonderful to have you again. It's been many, many years. And I'm going to just turn everything over to you.
Okay, thanks. So do I start now?
Yes, we already started and
Okay, great.
we've started
Hello.
the live stream also.
Okay, great. Hello. I
Thanks.
am Chan
Hello.
from Singapore. I am talking about animal-human relations in the context of New Horizon. So I put this COVID virus as the first page because we can also, there are a lot of discussion coming up about how the COVID virus might be a result of different species being put in close proximity in markets selling animal for food, and also as part of a process where their natural habitat were destroyed and they were dislocated. So I think, interestingly, the topic that I discussed is now also linked and related to this larger issue of the COVID virus. So what I plan to do is this. I will first give you a brief introduction of myself, what I do, and then I share with you a few animal rescue cases. And I hope with this information, it opens up a door for you to take a look at what I call a parallel universe. And I say a parallel universe because these things that I discuss probably is something that is also going on in your environment wherever you are, but it's happening, you just don't know about it. So that's why I call it parallel universe. And I think after that, I will also share with you, based on what I have done, how I attempt to leverage things. And then we take a step back to try to understand, okay, what am I, I often ask, what am I trying to achieve by doing all of this? And is there a larger purpose? So, after going through this, then we open up for Q&A. So very briefly, I am an animal rescuer. So I rescue mainly cats and some dogs. I had my first cat, I think about 15 years ago. Okay, so before that, I have never had any contact with cats. So I had my first two cats in Singapore about 15 years ago. We decided to adopt the cats. But after adopting the cats, it opened my eyes to understand the kind of challenges and dangers that the cats are exposed to. And I became a cat feeder. Okay? After I became a cat feeder, I became a cat rescuer. Cat rescuer meaning now I take in animals to look after them. And then I became more specialized in that I offer palliative care for cats. That means we come across cats who are dying, we bring them in, we give them comfort care, we give them all affection, and let them pass away as comfortable as possible and with lots of love. Okay, so this is what I do. And then in the process of doing this work, it brought up a new area of concern, and that is nutrition. How certain food can actually create health problem for cats. And you know, something happened that I never imagined it would. I founded my own brand of pet food because I want to make sure I have a control over the ingredient that go into the food. So I end up having a pet food brand. And from there, I was able to work with many rescue groups around the world, Singapore, Malaysia, Cambodia, Hong Kong, recently in Greece and UK as well, where we raise food to send to all of these rescuers. So I think I'm going to show you a slide to discuss a little bit about palliative care. And I think sometimes this new picture that I'm going to show you might be a little bit disturbing. And you know, I had gone through a period where I try to understand if, you know, some people feel very uncomfortable looking at the picture, but I think it's worth showing it because this is the reality of rescue work and this is what we face. And once you overcome the fear, you actually see a lot of things happening. So I want to share with you the rescue case of a cat called Rahula. Now, Francis. This cat, Francis, was a street cat, and he lived all his life on the street. He had some people who fed him, and one day they noticed there was a wound on his nose. They tried to apply some medication. The wound did not heal, and it got from bad to worse. And so much so that the vets start suspecting it's not a wound, it's a nose cancer. And that was when I heard about Francis, and I decided to take Francis in. Okay, from the vet, from a medical perspective, cats do not die of nose cancer. Okay, if they are out there on the street and the wound starts spreading, most of the time they die of infection. But if we can control the infection, then slowly the cancer cells will spread and the cat eventually die of cancer when the cancer cells spreads to its major organ. A lot of people, when they see this photo, they get very, very disturbed. And the first reaction they have is, look, put the cat to sleep. No point. Don't waste money on the treatment and don't let the cat suffer. But I refuse. And the reason I refuse was, for people who are unfamiliar with palliative care, especially nose cancer, this photo will look extremely shocking. I can understand. But as a caregiver, I am the one who had to face the cat every day. I am able to tell if the cat is happy or unhappy, comfortable or not comfortable. So every morning, I had to prepare a very special diet for him. And when I bring out the food, this cat would run very happily towards me. And you can see Francis very happy, you know, his face looks blooming and his body language is very happy, and he starts eating the food. Now, when he eat, I would try to encourage him by cheering him on, and he looked very, very happy. So when I see a cat in this situation, and when I see a cat still so happy, still so capable of, you know, responding and very happily, there is no reason to put the cat to sleep. So as a palliative caregiver, our job is to look after this cat, make the cat as comfortable as possible, as happy as possible, and let him depart in a very safe, comfortable, and loving manner. So that is palliative care for cats. I, of course, also do cat rescue work. This cat is Sawyer. There are a lot of people, he looks quite a Siamese cat, which means that there will be people who will get cats like him, breed the cats at home, and when the babies are born, they will put the babies up for sale. And a good Siamese can fetch a lot of money. So we are talking about very lucrative business. But the problem with this is, a lot of times they make the mother cat give birth over and over and over and over again, because every litter that a mother gives birth, it means a lot of profit. But we all know when a female animal or even human has to go through so many times of giving birth, there is a very serious consequence to its health. This cat's case, Sawyer, we suspect was a cat from a breeder. So for some reason, it's either he was not cute enough to be sold off, or somehow nobody wanted to buy him. And when he reached a certain age, people likes to buy cute kittens. Nobody wants to buy an adult. So when he reached adulthood, he was thrown out. Sawyer lived for a while in a market area. There were a lot of people. The place is very noisy, very dirty, and the people there most likely do not like cats. So Sawyer actually had a very hard time, and he was so traumatized that when I took him back, he spent 6 months hiding in my house. During that 6 months, I cannot go anywhere near Sawyer. If I did, he will try to attack me. Okay? And that shows how much stress and how much trauma he has been subjected to. If you look at this photo, you can see this cat. His eyes shows you a lot of fear. Okay? He is very, very stressed, and he is very, very frightened. Now, when we rescue a cat like this, we don't give up. Okay, we give him the time to heal. We give him the time to settle down, and we create opportunities to build trust with him. About 6 months after we rescue Sawyer, he finally decided we are okay people, and he started to warm up with us. And this is how he looks like today. You see a big drastic change in the face. You look at this face. He was very malnourished. You look at his eyes shows a lot of fear. He's highly stressed and he's traumatized. Okay, 6 months later, when he decided we are okay, he became very affectionate. He became very, very friendly, and he became very playful. So so when we do rescue work, we are really transforming lives. Okay, we find an animal who is going through a very, very bad time in their life. At the time of rescue, they may look very sick, they may look very ugly, they may look very dirty, but this is a product of what they have been through. So as a rescuer, our job is to create a loving environment so that all of these animals can bloom. Now, talking about cat rescue, I need to draw your attention to a very interesting group of people. Okay, I used to be one of them before I became a rescuer, and that is feeders. I have published a magazine called the Goldie Magazine, and with each issue of the magazine, we try to link up with animal rescue groups all over the world with surveys and information to try to understand the challenges faced by these people, because I always believe in connectivity and a global community of like-minded people. Now, all of them share very similar issues. There is a large segment of the public, okay? These people, they do not like community animals. They do not like community cats. Community cats means cats who are, the crude way of calling them is strays. Basically, they are cats on the street, owned by nobody. Okay, so there is a group of people who do not like them. Okay, and they not only do not like them, they are also against people who care for them. The more extreme of this group will go on to either mass poison them or even to abuse them. I have seen extreme abuse cases, like, using oil to pour on them, stabbing them, kicking them, and they do it just because they can. Okay, and a group of people who care for these cats, known as the feeders. These feeders are always at the losing end of a confrontation, because when they meet somebody who do not like cats, there is almost very little they can do, because they are always worried if you have a confrontation with these people, okay, these people may not, they may not be able to argue with the feeders. Okay, the feeders have all the information to share why they are doing what they do, but they are always worried that people who don't like the cats may just keep quiet and then later retaliate by abusing the cats. I have also heard of stories, you know, these feeders, they have their own work. After work, they will go out to feed the cats. They often use their resources to buy food. If the cats are sick, they bring them to the vet, they look after them, they sterilize them. And it takes a lot of effort every day and a lot of commitment to get this going. And they share a lot of stories that are really, really sad. One person told me when they were feeding the cats and watching the cats eat, this child, okay, this kid walked up to them and kicked the food away right in their face. You know, why? Why would you do such a thing? And this kid did it because he can. And then he walked over to the parent. So when the feeder turned over to look at the parent's reaction was no big deal. They just walk away with the kid. So when a parent allows a child to kick away food meant for the cats, what kind of value is the parent teaching the child? What is the parent trying the child to learn, and what kind of a person this will grow up to? But these are the constant abuse that feeders have to put up with in their attempt to care for the cats. And I say this is your parallel universe, because I maybe let me know where you come from later, but I'm sure in every country you have the same thing going on. There are a lot of community cats. There are a lot of people caring for them. A lot of times these people feed right in the middle of the night, because this is the time where there is the least exposure and less likelihood of confrontation. So I always tell people, if you don't like cats, leave them alone. Do not hurt them. Okay, do not abuse them. And you know, if you happen to see somebody feeding or caring for cats, even if you cannot support them with food donation or medical bill, all you need to do is to tell them, thank you very much. What you are doing is wonderful. I tell you, it means so much to them. Okay, these are the people who are facing a lot of abuse, verbal abuse, for nothing, for doing what they believe. And if somebody goes up and say, thank you, I appreciate what you're doing, can you imagine how wonderful it is? And this is something happening everywhere, you know. So I hope now that you know of this, it helps you to open up this parallel universe for you to have a peep inside, and you can see, you know, a lot of community animals actually live in fear. Okay, and cats and dogs, they are always very fearful because people may attack them, humans may abuse them. So if you become mindful of all of this situation, you are able to speak up in support of feeders. You are able to be mindful of what these animals are going through. So the next time if you see a community animal, if you don't like them, just stay away and move on. Don't frighten them. Don't do anything to stress them. And if you see if even socially, you know, I think socially in many countries, it's quite acceptable for people to say, that animal that was so irritating, I have to get rid of it. And people are saying such things because there is no social stigma. You know, it's like quite normal. But when people start to speak up, when somebody say, the cat outside my place is so frustrating, it's so irritating, if people can start to share that cat is also part of the environment, you know, if you can make friends with that cat, you can immediately transform his life. And if people are willing to speak up, when you hear people making aggressive statement against community animal, if you are able to speak up and this person changes its mind without doing anything, you transform the quality of this animal's life almost immediately. Okay, so these are some of the things that you can do. I mentioned just now, this journey is actually quite an interesting journey for me because I started off by feeding, and then I saw problem with cats. I start adopting. When I start adopting, I see more serious issue of cats needing palliative care. So I start doing palliative care work. And then when I see problems with concerns on food, I end up having my own brand of food. So if you ask me 15 years ago, if I would imagine I'm doing what I'm doing, answer no, no way, no way. I think I just push things as far as I possibly could. Then all of this information background resources then open up some very interesting new opportunities for me. I always believe in a global community of like-minded people. I think if we connect with different people, we can make things happen. So about 3 years ago, I discovered the situation of cats in Cambodia. Okay, so a lot of people in Cambodia, when they don't want cats, they throw the cats in a monastery. But the monastery, the people in the monastery are very kind. They allow the cats to stay, but the cats need food. The cats need medical attention, and they start breeding. So it became a problem for the monastery. But because the cats are all undernourished, they have no medical care, the cats also die very young. So it was really, really sad and really, really painful to find out what's going on. So I made contact with a group of rescuer. There's a rescue organization founded by a German woman in Cambodia. She goes around sterilizing the cats, giving them medical attention. But what they lacked was food. So we start raising food in Singapore and then ship it to Cambodia. The food that this woman holds is my food, and the cat on the food is a cat that I rescue. I always put rescue animals on our product to promote the idea of adoption. Do not buy, adopt cats. So we have done this program for a few years now, and what has happened is, with proper food, the cats' life are being transformed. They are now healthier, they live longer, and the quality of life have improved. So the monastery very kindly offers a place for them to stay. The German organization comes in, give medical care, does sterilization, and we raise the food. So now they have food, they have medical care, they have a place to stay. And collectively, we improve all of their living condition. So I think all of these things are interestingly, it would have been very difficult to do things like that maybe 50 years ago, but today with social media, with connectivity, we can actually network with a lot of like-minded people and do a lot of things together. And a new area that we went into is Greece. In Greece, what I have been told is this: there are a lot of cats locally, and a lot of these cats, they depend on tourists for food. A lot of time, especially from UK, when the tourists go to Greece, they stay in a restaurant or whatever, and they see these cats, they will start feeding the cats. During winter time, when the tourists stop going, a lot of these cats starve to death because they have no food. A lot of these cats also suffer from mass poisoning. So a lot of cat activists from the UK, they have linked up with the local Greek rescuers to give them support with sterilization, with medical care and food. So we also got in to start raising food for all of these cats in Greece. And interestingly, we started this sometime late last year, and what has happened was this year, as you know, we have a problem with COVID, and with closing down of tourism trade, with closing down of borders, no more tourists is going to Greece. And because of that, no food for the cats. So they are all starving big time. So we are very lucky in that we were able to link things up before COVID happened. So even in the midst of epidemic, we were able to keep the food going into Greece for all of these animals. So you see, until now, I'm discussing about, you know, cat rescue and things like that. And one of the issue with animal welfare that I think we need to be very mindful is this. You'll see a lot of discussion among animal lovers and animal rescue group. There is a big movement going around arguing against cat meat trade, dog meat trade, and they're arguing that humans should not be eating cats. Humans should not be eating dogs because dogs and cats are pets. They are not food. Recently in Singapore, a restaurant opened up serving rabbit meat. So a lot of rabbit lovers were very upset. They are saying that, hey, rabbits should not be eaten. They are very cute. You know, there are enough other meat for you to eat that you don't have to eat rabbit. Now, for me, I think I might do a lot of work with cat rescue, okay, but I don't think it's a position of liking one animal against the other. You know, I take the position that all the animals out there, they are all sentient beings. They are all our fellow beings. So as we human, what we should do is we should try to build a new environment or to promote a lifestyle that creates as little harm and as little suffering to animals. So rather than saying not to eat cat, not to eat dog, my argument is, if possible, we should all be vegetarian and vegans, okay? Because as human, we are able to survive without meat. And every meal that you take without meat is many lives saved, okay? But when I say this, I always will also tell people who are not vegetarian, you know, that yes, this is a very nice idea, but not everybody is able to become a vegetarian or a vegan just like that. You know, I think for different people, things may come, things may happen at the right time. So if you're not ready to be a vegetarian, you're not ready to be a vegan, what you can do is to try to eat only what you need and not to waste food. When you buy products, you can also try to look for products that do not have animal origin ingredients. You can also look for products that are not tested on animals. All of this little gesture have very big implication for animal welfare. You know, and coming to food, even if you cannot be a full-time vegetarian, you can pick a few, even one or two meals a week, 1 or 2 meals a month, and you know that will be a good start. So, you know, hopefully one day, you know, things ripen and you become a vegetarian. But if not, just do whatever you can to the best that you can. I think that will already be a very good start. Now, whenever I talk about, I have been a vegetarian for about, I think maybe about 15, 16 years. And one very common problem, I wouldn't say it's a problem. One very common question that people ask me is, how do I reconcile, okay, being a vegetarian and selling pet food and rescuing cats? Okay, because the pet food is meat. When I rescue animal, I sometimes have to to buy meat to cook for them. So people are always curious, how do I reconcile this? And my answer is very simple. We need to respect nature. Okay, so as a human being, we are perfectly okay to live without meat. Okay, I think it's been scientific. The science have proven. In the East, you also have Buddhist monks who have been vegetarian, and they lead very long, very healthy life, and that practice has been going on for hundreds and thousands of years. So I think there is enough science to prove that humans can survive without meat. So that settled. But when it comes to animal, we unfortunately have to respect nature. If the cat needs to eat meat, they have to eat meat. I don't think there's much we can do, and we shouldn't impose a vegetarian diet on animals who need meat. So we just will accept it as a fact. So I think this gives us a more middle of the road attitude towards what we want to do. But I think if you look at the larger consumption issue, if humans can all become vegans and vegetarian, a lot of animal welfare, animal suffering issue will be resolved. So that to me is a better way to approach things. So the question is, for me, we start with animal rescue, animal welfare, and then we started also to link up with animal rescue groups around the world. So what we hope to be able to do is to be able to link up with as many groups as possible to promote this lifestyle, of mindful living, of leading a life that creates as little suffering to animals as possible. I think it is I think it's possible to do that, because a lot of times when we go through our daily life, we sometimes become so focused that we become that we don't pay attention to things around us. So sometimes all you need is that little door to be open for you to realize all the issues that you might not have thought of. And once you see all of this issue, then the seed is planted for you to start to think, what are the steps you can make to change things? And having that global community helps a lot, because I think when people of different background come together to work towards a bigger aim and a bigger goal, it can really, really change things, and it can even shape how products are being produced. I think it's already happening, but where we are coming from is we are also combining, animal rescue, animal welfare into consumption choices. And I think all of this, I believe, will create a more compassionate world. Okay, and I think sometimes people are also interested to wonder, how do I benefit from it? And I think it relates back to the earlier point. The COVID epidemic that we are experiencing is the answer. I think that is the result of over exploitation of nature, the loss of natural habitat, the consumption of animals, and subjecting them to very stressful condition that allows virus, bacteria to thrive, to mutate, and eventually it comes back to affect every one of us. So I think I think if we look at COVID as a larger backdrop, being compassionate to animals and choosing a more compassionate lifestyle is not only good for animals, not only good for environment, but eventually it's good for us as a whole as well. So a few years, I think all of these things that I discussed, or all these ideas that I shared, they are probably not new. There are already different people focusing on different bits and pieces of it. But what we have done is we put all of this together into a larger picture, and our main audience basically are the animal lovers. I think being animal lovers, that is probably the fastest or easiest audience that we have. But we also feel it's important to reach out to more people, larger audience, so that they themselves can understand and create a different movement together. One very interesting, this is a sticker created by a friend of mine many years ago, and I think what he has very interestingly done is, to put animals all side by side. And what I like about this message is everything is put together so nicely, because, I think this sticker crossed a lot of cultural barriers, because you don't even need to explain. Everybody can instantly tell, oh yeah, we are looking at some animals who are pets, some animals who are food, and love us, not eat us. So this message comes across very fast and very easily. And in fact, this sticker has gone to about 36 countries around the world. And I always, whenever I talk about animal welfare issue, this is the sticker that always come to my mind. And I think, I couldn't agree more. All life are precious. So basically, yeah. So basically, let me do a quick summary. I started as a cat rescuer, and then going into more specialized area of palliative care, and palliative care rescue work, and now networking with different animal welfare groups. In the process, what I see is, despite different cultural national background, the challenges we face is always about the same. It's about human attitude towards animal, the hostility towards animal. So in trying to resolve this, it brings us to another set of questions, which is, are you doing this because you like cats? Are you doing this because you like dogs? Is there a larger ideal that we are striving to? And my answer is yes. We are not a cat lover. We are not a dog lover. We are animal lovers, and we see all animals as sentient beings. So with that positioning, it makes sense then to go up to the next level, to advocate a lifestyle that reduces harm and suffering to as many animals as possible. So, this is, you might have heard similar messages elsewhere, but this is the kind of on-the-ground experience that, and working with all the different groups, this is how it led me to where I am today. And this is the message that I always want to reach out to people from different parts of the world. So so I look out for different people. If you are a feeder somewhere out in the world, I want to understand your work. If you're a rescue group, I want to see how I can work with you. If you are, if you want to explore vegan lifestyle and so on, I'm interested to discuss. All of these are different levels, different facets of the same problem. So yeah, I guess I hope you get my message. I think maybe we can open up for Q&A.
Yeah, there are a couple questions, Chan. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. So let's see. Sandra asked, Chan, thank you for your compassion and care. I have a rescue cat as well, she says. And her question is, why is there such a disconnection between humans understanding the animal species?
I think the simple answer to that is, I think I mentioned it just now. I think as we go about our life, we become so focused that we become immune to what is happening around us. And very often, okay, let me share with you. When I tell people I'm an a cat rescuer, what is the most common response I get? Okay. The most common reply I get is, are you stupid or what? You have nothing better to do. If you have too much money, give me some. You know, most of the time, the first response is either very sarcastic or very hostile, or sometimes even a mocking tone. But I also notice when you start to share all of this information, their attitude starts to change. So I think the answer to that is a lot of ignorance, a lot of self-importance. And if we can start to share this idea that actually animals are like us, they have the same feeling, they have the same happiness, fear, people will start to see them differently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're right. I think taking a new approach and is what we need for new horizons about how do we live in harmony with nature, and that includes our animal world as well. We have another question, Chan, and actually, let me see. This is a longer one, so let me see if I can grab it for you. This person presents the idea, it's Constantine, and the idea is presented like you are, it's in regards to killing animals for food. In his case, he's talking about chickens, and he's looking at the slide that says, love us, not eat us. He said, if you were elected a president like of a chicken farm, or you represented their race to humans, what would you do during negotiations? So he has it divided into two parts: promoting solutions for humans not eating the chickens, but knowing in the long run that billions of chickens would be left and chicken farms would be gone. And two, promoting somehow a status quo as eating your chickens, knowing that they have a food-related death. So this is a couple parts to this question. And I think all in all, the message is here, what would be your solution? Where is the balance? Because as we know, sometimes you have to raise food and use food to have food for other animals, just like in animal food. So where's the balance in that?
Well, I think that the best answer is to respect nature. So in the case of animal, if they need meat, unfortunately they need meat. But for human, we can live without food. But I think a lot of question about what is going to happen often is based on this idea of what if we stop eating. But I think most of the time, things probably happen over a period of time, and there are sufficient time for trends to emerge and resources to be reallocated. So I don't think we will have any issue of immediate drastic change overnight. But I think regardless, the most important thing I feel is always to give people information, let them see what is going on, and then change can start to happen. And when things happen, I think resources gets reallocated. Chicken farm may see a different model. I don't know, but I think when trends happen, resources will get reallocated. All of these issues will be resolved.
Okay, great. Thank you for that answer. I see two more questions here, actually a few more coming in. I have two, this person says, Reluca, I have two rescue cats. Since moving to the countryside, I saw people from all over the village throwing away cats that were hit. And some of the cats that were sick died. So they weren't able to bring them to the doctor. And just wanted to thank you. It looks like this person would like to connect Hopefully they'll be able to maybe connect with you through maybe Facebook or something. Maybe you can speak more about that if they have more questions for you in regards
Sure,
to this.
sure.
Okay, wonderful. This is from Alexandra. You have mentioned before about gaining the trust in animals, but I was wondering, how can one offer animal comfort in a situation that is difficult for them? For example, when they give birth, or they're sick, or they have a broken limb. I think they're asking about more specific ways that you create a loving and comforting environment.
Okay, let me share with you. A few examples. I think for me, the best evidence of how we can provide comfort and care to animals is this example. People often ask, when a cat is dying, what can we do? You know, and I often say, I know how to help cats to die faster. Okay, let me explain. I have had several palliative cases where the cats are already dying, and I believe sometimes they refuse to go. I think if you look at the medical condition of the cat, you can very much know that the cat is dying. It's just a matter of time. But some cats refuse to go. They cling on very tightly and they still stay alive for a long time. In the course of my palliative care, I have noticed the cats die much faster as after you give them permission to go and you assure them you will be all right. Okay, I once had this cat called Rahula. He was FIV, FELV. He was dying on the street. I took him home. He stayed with me for 8 months. Unfortunately, his FELV developed into stomach cancer. So he was passing out blood very frequently. I had to wash him every day. Now, I have to accept that he will not be long. So one day after I shower him, I held him up and I pet him dry and I talked to him. I told him, if I'm able to spend money to help you to recover, no matter how much it costs, I will go for it. But we reach a point where that is no longer possible. So what I would like you to do is I want you to let go of this body, okay? Free yourself from this body, go to a better place. Okay, I tell him, after you go away, Papa will be very sad, but you don't worry about me. I will be all right. I know how to look after myself. I will always remember you. I will always love you. You know what happened? He left the next morning. And this similar thing happened with a lot of cats that I look after. After you assure them you'll be all right, you tell them I will always love you, I always remember you, let go of this body. They go very fast. So I think this is the best, for me, that is the best example that when you shower them with compassion and love, they know it, they can understand it.
Yeah. And I think that language, it's a frequency of heart and care. And I think it translates not only to animals, but humans as well, is we need that comfort care, especially if it's that end of life, and having somebody just there and that compassion to help eliminate the fear. And I think that allows them to sort of relax. And even if they don't speak the language, I think there's a frequency that they feel. And you have, what the work that you're doing is huge, making such an impact around the globe. You have a huge heart.
Animals may not understand our language, but our tone and our body language, they can understand where we are coming from. I don't know if this is what people call energy. They are able to understand your message even if they don't understand our language. And I think a lot of times for people who are new or who are not who have limited interaction with animal, when you tell them this kind of thing, people often react like, hey, this guy, you know, something not right there. But when you have a chance to interact with animals, you know, very intimately, you will start to realize they do understand our tone of voice.
Yeah, I believe you're right. There's a tone that they definitely connect to, and they can feel that compassion from us, you know. And it doesn't just have to be cats or dogs. I think it translates to all animal. Okay, I see if we have time for a couple more, and I see two more messages here. If I can read them to you. And this is from Raluca. Again, I found these two cats in my yard from my neighbor. He may have been a breeder because they say that they're very cute cats. And this person is a dog lover. Raluca is a dog lover. I can still take care of cats. And this is what I understood kind of seeing this. So I think the message is, even if you are a dog lover, you can still have compassion for other breeds of animals. And they continue to say, the reason why I wanted to connect with this is maybe they suspected something from the neighbor and the kittens that were being bred there. And so I think that person was maybe feeling something and taking care of the cats that the neighbor was maybe supposedly breeding. So they wanted to share that thought with you. And thank you, Raluca. Thank you for being a caregiver, even as a dog person. Thank you for being a caregiver to those cats in your neighborhood. Okay, so I think that's all that we have as far as questions here. I know we'll continue the discussion. And Chan, do you have any closing remarks for the youth and people here? A closing departing messages as we go back out. We have, you know, I think there's a lot of pets and animals that are experiencing also some of the hardships because of the pandemic at this moment. What advice or message can you give youth or our listeners as we leave you today that you would like to have us remember?
I think our theme is New Horizon. And I think sometimes if, you know, a new horizon can be created right in your own backyard, you know, right on the street that you live in. You know, the decision that you make and the things that you decide can really create a new horizon with very wide implication.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think and hopefully there's going to be new horizons for the way that we care for animals and the way that they're utilized for whatever that is. So hopefully in everyone's hearts, we can have feel more compassion and more connected to the animals that we live with and that are all around us as well. So, Chan, it's been amazing to have you here. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you to all our participants and those watching live on Facebook. We're going to be here all day with a lot of conferences. And Chan, can people connect with you? Oh, look at that. Oh,
this is Rose. Cute. This is Rose. She has kidney failure, so we took her in to look after her.
Oh, she looks so soft. Look at that. Hi. Hello. Chan, where can people connect with you if they have more questions or want to share their story or learn more about what you do?
Can I give you a link? They can go to that Facebook link.
Yes. Yes, you can. We can share a link if you wish, and also, are people able to find you on social media?
Yes. I will send you the Facebook link, and then you just share it with them. If they message me on that Facebook, I will be able to get in touch. So our audience here are from where are the audiences from?
Actually, we have about 25 countries or so on this list. It kind of depends. We have a handful of people watching live, and I'm not sure where they're from. And then we have a handful of participants, couple handfuls of participants here. But we can get you a list of.
Oh, no. I mean, basically, if among the participants or the audience, if there are any animal rescuers or feeders out there, get in touch with me. I'll love to see what we can do together.
Great, wonderful message, and we'll make sure we'll connect anybody that would like to. Chan, I'm going to wish you a pleasant evening. Thank you for sharing your kitten on air with us. And we're wishing you all the best.
Thank you.
Okay. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.